Welcome everybody to Service Drive Revolution. On this episode today, we are going to talk about our top 5 takeaways from our annual event that we just had that also coincidentally is called the Top Dog event. So 5 takeaways, mine and Christian's, different lists, separate, might be the same, might be different. We don't know what each other wrote. Also, we're going to talk about the news and just bring you up to date on what's going on around here at Chris Collins Inc. So I'm Chris Collins and this is Christian.
Hello, everyone.
That and much, much more coming up right now on Service Drive Revolution. We've been gone for a while. We definitely missed you. We missed you probably more than you missed us. And I think there's a lot of people that don't know what to do on a Monday.
I think that's the thing is that, when you think about it, like SDR is the Monday anchor, the drive-by on Friday is like the way we close it. Like, I think we're vital to people's weeks at the end of the day when you really think about it.
We're in our conference room in our office, which we think might become the new set for SDR. Because we don't really need a conference room once the library's built. And the library, as we sit here today, is probably a month away, from being ready for people to come and participate in something.
Okay.
I will also tell everybody that in the last month, I have probably bought another 1,000 books just because starting a library has forced me to look at the books that I have and fill in gaps where I'm missing certain books. Like, for example, in the leadership section, in the presidential section, I bought a bunch of Churchill stuff that I didn't have before. And in the psychology, I've got a bunch of new magic stuff, mythology. So I've really filled in where I feel like the gaps are. So it's more of a complete collection in a sense. We'll always be adding to it, but if somebody comes here and they wanted to read about psychology, there would be more there than they could consume.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say is maybe how you would describe it before is you had a little bit of everything, and now you can actually come in and learn a lot about a topic. Like having multiple books on Churchill, like just for instance, right? So that dude has, he was in politics for 70 years. It was like something crazy like that. It started in the late 1800s, went to the 1950s. Just in case you were wondering, I also read a book on Churchill. But there's a lot of information in there, and I think that's really cool that you're trying to build this library to be a complete learning center on so many different levels, and I think that's really neat.
Yeah, and I'm also noticing when I'm boxing them up, because I've been going through my library at home and boxing them up in categories, is that, like, for example, what would you put Churchill under as a category?
Politics.
Okay. I have so much stuff on Churchill, he's kind of his own.
You have a whole Churchill section,
yeah.
It's enough to make it a section.
Same thing with Carl Jung.
Really cool. Yeah.
Like there's a lot of, just think about the Rothko books I have. Or
I was thinking you can have a Duchamp wing.
Well, yeah. I don't think I'm going to bring the Duchamp books here.
Okay.
So there's a lot of books that when I do the leadership workshop, I will bring them for that day and then I'm taking them home. I don't want to sleep at night thinking they're 10 miles away.
Oh, that makes sense.
I don't know. There's a connection there. Well, there's certain books I'm not going to put here.
Yeah, so many of those types of things, like how much of your collection would you say is almost irreplaceable? Like definitely some of those Duchamp books, right? And then I think of
irreplaceable, maybe like 5%, but
it's a lot.
Going through the books, I don't think people from the outside looking in understand how eccentric I am in, like, for example, I got books on Churchill's paintings. Like, most people don't even know he painted.
He's actually not bad. I've seen some of his paintings. It's pretty impressive.
And then just think about different psychology stuff that I have, magic, hypnosis. I got more hypnosis. And then what do you think the largest part of the collection is? Which most people would never guess this. I have more of these books than anything else.
Gosh, I'm gonna. I feel like this is a layup, and it's not gonna be right. But personal development.
I have very little personal development.
Yeah.
Like, even when I'm going through them and I land on one of those, I don't know where to put it. Because I don't. Some of those books are dog whistles, but I don't think it's something I'd want in my library.
Okay.
Like Leaders Eat Last or Clowny stuff like those aren't real books.
Yeah, so I was thinking
They're
way
dog
more
whistles.
like Carnegie, Jocko's book, like some of those real essentials are core that I know that you have.
Carnegie, yeah, Jocko would be on the cusp, but people aren't going to come here to look at that book. They would have it already.
That's
right?
fair.
But photography and then art. I have more photography books than anything.
Yeah. These are really cool photography books. So photography's number one. I would not, I didn't guess that.
It's number one by a number of books and also by the size.
Yeah. So I
They're
think that's
huge.
another thing too that's I'm personally excited about. Like I've been to your house a bunch of times. I don't know the scope of your library, personally.
Yeah,
Like,
it'll be
you
fun
have
when
so
it's
much stuff
when it's
right?
online and
Yeah.
you can peruse through it.
Yeah, your passion towards books has kind of inspired me too. So I don't know if you know this or not, but I've started painting. So I've been spending a lot.
Just like Churchill.
Not near as I got
You're
some
way
work
better?
to do to get to Churchill level, but so I've just kind of been there's a lot of stuff that you need in order to be a painter. So so I've got the easel, I've got a bunch of canvases, different sizes and everything like that. My what's the thing that holds the paint? What do they call that thing?
Bucket.
Palette, maybe? Is it a color palette, right? But then I went to the other day. I went to the art supply store, and I went to the art supply store to get thinner. It didn't work.
No, I get it. To get thinner. What was, in this little hiatus that we've had, what was the biggest surprise to you?
Probably, I would say, because we're talking about several weeks, I think that the whole thing that we predicted about, like the used car market starting to tank and everything like that, and that it's starting to happen and people are surprised.
Oh, that's a good one.
So that's one thing that's like, we talked about it months ago, and everyone's like, oh no, the sky's falling. But no, the sky's been slowly dropping.
Well, and you could see it miles out if
That's
you're paying
right.
attention. What goes up must come down.
Yeah, so that's one of the most interesting things.
That's a good one. That might be better than mine, but the most surprising thing to me was that we did a best of your comedy bits and then my reaction. And in the last, I don't know, 3 months, when we put up, this is a funny thing.
This is embarrassing.
And don't get me started on this, but when we put up our interview of Dog the Bounty Hunter, it got no view. Like YouTube censored that thing. Like it probably to this day doesn't have views. I haven't looked at it lately, but we looked at it every day and we're like, what's wrong with this video?
Flatlined.
Like it didn't even make sense because we have more people. I don't know. We had more people here looking at that video internally than it showed.
Yeah.
They completely eliminated it from their algorithm, no matter what we did, which was insight into how YouTube does censor stuff, because there's nothing in that video. All the stuff that he said that would be controversial is edited out of that video. It's a very clean, constructive conversation, him telling his story, and why it gets banned or whatever, they're shadow banning it or whatever they're doing. Your comedy was the same way.
Dead. So I don't.
I don't know if that happened because maybe the YouTube puts our channel in a like purgatory or something, because the downloads on Apple and Spotify were the same.
Okay.
But it's
the
just
YouTube
on
views were
YouTube.
Terrible.
So we put up Dog the Bounty Hunter, whatever, and then that one, and maybe I'm trying to help here.
Yeah. So for those of you, most of you that don't know, there was actually a clip that was put up that was literally like just maybe over the last year or something like that. It was the reason
Took a tremendous amount of time to
Yes.
go back through and
It
pull
was
out all
well
your jokes.
curated. So we did a Christian's best joke, kind of like in place of a
Maybe the
drive-by
best
on
part is my
Friday.
reaction to your
And
jokes.
so this is my point: is that my favorite thing is not me telling the joke, because I told the joke, I get it, everything like that. But the genuine reactions from Chris, and like the more annoyed or confused he is, the better. And that there was only a handful of people that saw that. I even got texts that people are like, they love the ones that we selected. Kevin did a great job curating that whole thing, but man, nobody watched that video. Not a thing. Like I had to seriously question my funniness.
Yeah, you might want to work
Yeah.
on it. I think you're funny, but maybe it's cognitive dissonance. And
Clearly,
I'm
YouTube doesn't
convincing
think I'm that
myself.
funny.
It's funny. Let's do the news.
This is more of a public service announcement than anything, and it's not a joke, it's serious, because Jay Leno seriously burned in a car fire with gasoline. So he's out of the hospital, he's okay, but this is literally like a please get well, Jay. I think that he's a huge fan of the automotive industry, and I wish nothing but the best for him. So he is, we were talking about this earlier, is that, the way that guy, his ability and like his curation of cars and the museums that the museum that he
Passion
has,
for cars.
and the way that like you just watch him on some of those videos where he's driving and you just see how happy he is, and I'm a huge fan of that. And
Did you see when he got out of the hospital, he was right back at his garage?
Yeah, they TMZ filmed him getting gas and stuff like that. But speedy recovery. I'm glad he's okay. But that was cool. So that brings us to our next thing, which is GM announced that Corvette is to launch as a brand, its own brand in 2025, and they're going to bring out a Corvette four-door. Because everywhere Chris and I go, everyone says, man, I'd love a Vette if only I could get my 6-year-old in the back.
Is this like when Ford made the Mustang into an electric SUV?
Yes, so it's going to be an EV spinoff, and it's going to distill the essence of Corvette in terms of design and driving dynamics. So it says here, 2025, they're going to have a Corvette four-door and an SUV. And then just to keep in line with them, turning this into a family thing, 2026, we expect that there's going to be the Corvette station wagon, followed the next year by the Corvette minivan, and they're in talks. They're going to do a version of a scooter and call that Corvette also.
Like a Vespa?
Yeah, like a Vespa.
So like you think moms want to pull up to school in a Corvette minivan?
Right?
Like, oh, that hot mom over there in the minivan?
Look at her, she's got the Vette.
The vet?
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's so weird.
It is really weird. I don't understand it.
So
but,
my opinion of that is that it will do as well as the Mustang little SUV electric car. It's irrelevant. I don't think people care. You know what? Do you feel like GM is getting lost?
Yeah, I think you could make that case. I
Like
think they're
they
super
really
reactionary.
haven't rebranded Cadillac the way they want, right?
I think they're getting rid of Buick.
I feel like the bigger problem here is that they're grasping at straws because they're trying to use everything that they have, like throwing the kitchen sink, to try to see what works, but they don't really have a clear idea of the customer want. Like, business is about solving a problem in the marketplace, and I don't think they are making cars because that's what they do, but they don't understand that they're not really solving a bigger problem in the marketplace. If I was GM, I would talk about Jay Leno. I would hire Jay Leno as a vice president and have him tell stories about cars and do social media and market. And if they were paying Jay $40 million a year to do the Tonight Show, pay him $40 million a year to go out and create stories and experiences with General Motors, old and new, and help. I think Jay Leno has more of a grasp on what's cool out there. Like, I never would have considered buying a Corvette until I saw Jay with the engineer of it talking about it, right?
Yep.
That's a way better idea than having a Corvette SUV.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Like, start making some cars that solve problems, and maybe those problems are that they're shareable or that the technology's better, something like that. Do you know on Missy's Tesla that now you can do Zoom?
Really?
Like, how cool is that? Like, think about sometimes when I leave here and we have a Zoom meeting and I'm in my car holding my phone for a Zoom meeting, but in the Tesla, Zoom is on the screen.
She's just right there.
And all the cameras they already have and all that. Think about that.
That's funny. I did not
Isn't
know
that
it
a
had
better
Zoom.
idea than making a Corvette SUV?
I feel like there's a lawsuit going to be pending. Like someone's getting in a wreck, they're going to blame their Zoom.
Okay, do you want to go through your top 5? These are our top 5 lessons, takeaways, things that stuck with us.
Yeah.
From the big event.
Okay. So my number 5 takeaway is that our clients are not vegetarians. We had thousands, if not millions, of pounds of leftover salad.
The salad bar was not popular.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if people had given it a chance, it was quite delicious. Actually, I thought that
there was actually chicken in there.
The food was really, really good. And then number 4, Chris he was kind of alluding to it, is that like the beauty of how hard everybody works to make those events go off is that the best compliment is that no one would ever know how hard it was because it looks so easy. And I was so impressed with, like, you had so many variables. Like, we were in a movie theater that was actually still open and running, and the way that the team negotiated things that happened on the fly that no one would ever know about.
We were putting on an event in an environment that's not meant to put on an event.
Yes.
From every aspect, from serving food to serving drinks to the sound. I mean, it was 10 minutes before, we opened the doors on the first night for the reception that Kosh figured out to run an HDMI just to get the sound to work right. And for some reason, we had a 100-foot HDMI cord. Like,
just happened to have it.
Yeah, random stuff, but not meant to be in that environment.
So my third favorite takeaway is that we put on an event that even the people that went to the event, they go back to their stores and they try to explain what happened to somebody, and I don't know that they'd be able to do it. There was like a really cool, it was almost an alchemy / magic that happened, and it was so far away from what anybody could have possibly expected was going to happen. That was really neat. It was really cool to be a part of something like that. The number 2 thing that I have down here is that I came out of that, with the speakers and the lessons that were done and everything that we did, was that don't judge. Like, take a lesson, or there's so much to learn from everybody or every situation. And I thought that was really, really evident on when we had Christian come in, and not me, different Christian, come in and do what he does. And then all the speakers uniquely, if you were sitting there was a lot to gain out of it, even if it wasn't exactly what they were saying. And then the number 1 thing that I would say that was really, really awesome is the breakout groups were they were that reminder of how important the sense of community, and within the breakout groups, why the heck didn't we bring these parts managers in sooner? They were they had such great feedback and observations, and it was a lot of parts managers' first time coming to Top Dog, and it was so cool to see them interacting. It was like fixed ops was actually one unit for the first time. It was so amazing to me.
I totally agree with that. I don't know what we were thinking not including parts a long time ago. It's so natural, and there's so much talent. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know what we were thinking.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay, recap really quick. Number 5
was clients are not vegetarians.
Number 4.
No one will ever know how difficult it was.
Number 4.
Number 3. Hard for someone to describe even though they went to the event.
Number 4.
Don't judge. Breakout groups, sense of community. Why didn't we get parts involved sooner?
Okay, mine I guess are a little bit different, so this is kind of fun. So my first one on my list is when we did the elite meeting. So we thought our library here would be ready, and we were going to have the elite meeting in the library here, but like everything, we're over budget and way behind. And
It's like a movie.
so kind of it, a couple weeks out, we're like, well, where do we have it? Because this isn't going to be ready. So we decided to have the elite meeting at my house, which was interesting because, I don't know, we ended up that day having like 50 people there or something.
Yeah.
Which was a lot for the house, but it worked. During the elite meeting, one of the things that we do is we will take other businesses from other industries and dissect them. So we'll make a deal with the business. Sometimes we pay them. Sometimes they do it just because they want the advice. It depends. In this situation, we had a connection with them, and we've done business with them, but they're a hi-fi store. So a high-end hi-fi store, and they came in and presented their business to the elite group, and they talked about their marketing and their numbers and how they get customers back and their kind of customer journey, which was really fascinating.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the retention of it. And I describe their business model like heroin dealers, because it really is, once you get a new turntable, then you need new speakers, then you need a new amp. It just goes.
Then the wires have to be able to handle the power and all the stuff. And then the needle. I didn't know about needles.
Yeah, cartridges.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, it's funny. So, but just the fact that every time we do that, you walk away going, it's really not that different. Like, we want it to be different, but it's really, at the end of the day, a business that's doing a good job serving the market, getting repeat customers, is more about psychology than anything else.
Yeah.
And so that's my first one, is that a service department's way closer to a hi-fi store than you would ever think. Where we would think, oh, well, it's hi-fi, it doesn't matter. Actually, it's people, and it does matter. We're more similar than we are different. Andrew Bustamante.
Love him.
So he is former CIA, maybe still CIA. I don't know. What an incredible human being he is. And so what happened with Andrew was, we had him just for the elite group.
Yeah.
He was going to do a 4-hour interactive kind of choose your own story adventure that you're a spy, and he walked everybody through this, and then at the end there was a winner. You had to analyze and make a final decision on how to proceed, and we broke everybody into groups of 3. I think it was really fun. But we had him just for that. But we had a speaker back out at the last minute. We asked him if he would speak at the main event. And so he ended up hanging out the whole weekend.
So much access.
The way that he talks to people, it makes you feel like you're the most important person in the room over and over and over again. How genuinely selfless he is in his... I have never seen anything like that. And it's just... it's genuine. I don't know.
Yeah.
It made me feel like there's hope for humanity. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. But the amazing thing about that is that it wasn't one person. Everyone he came into contact left feeling. I did. Totally. Like, I had a conversation with him. I was like, wow, he really likes me. And like the way that he made me feel good about myself. And then I'd watch him do the same thing to someone sitting right next to me. And at the same time, everybody felt like they were the most important person in the conversation. It was an orchestra playing.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
He went to everything too.
Yeah.
So he came to the event through the whole thing. The only thing is, after he went on stage and at the main event, he went on stage. He said, I got to go get in a workout. He left and worked out and came back.
Yeah.
That was it. Otherwise, he was at every dinner and just making friends and available and accessible. And some of the conversations I had with him, I'm super into that, the mindset and all that. So that was number 2 for me. And his content was incredible, but him as a person and how selfless he was, well, incredible. The third one I have, which is just kind of funny, is so at the dinner, the closing night, we gave away awards for top advisor and top manager. And at some point, they're doing those awards, and I think Hoagie comes up to me and he goes, "You had the microphone, which didn't work. Everybody was way louder than the microphone.
Yeah.
It was kind of a little bit of a mess. But you are talking. I don't know what you're saying because I was taking pictures with people." And Hoagie comes up and he goes, I think Christian's filling, and he's waiting for you to go up there and give a final speech." And I was like, "Final speech? Like what? Like, I don't have a speech. What?" So I go over to you and you hand me the microphone or whatever. And then not long after, we kind of closed it or whatever. By close it, I mean the speaking part.
Yeah.
We still had a couple hours in the room and drinks and all that. You said, "I gotta go." That's the first time I've ever seen you have an expiration date. We will try. Christian will go on a Friday afternoon, fly to Florida to go on a hike with his son, fly back to LA, and be ready to go on Monday. You would never know. Like, if I did that, I would be jet lagged for 2 days. I'm a big baby. That's the first time I've ever seen you exhausted to the point that you just wanted to leave. Yeah. You were done. There was no talking to you. There was nothing.
Kudos to you for recognizing that, because you didn't try to talk me out of it. And
out of what?
Out of going.
How would I have?
If you told me I needed to stay, I would have stayed. Mm. But
that wasn't on my mind.
So reflecting back on it, one is that the whole 4 days, right? Because we're 4 days. Maybe some people come in for a day and a half or whatever, but we're working.
Well, in context, we have our team come in.
Yes.
And we have a company thing. Then we have the elite. There's dinners every night. Then we have the main event, and then a final dinner. So for 4 days, all day, all late into the evening, we're going.
Yeah. And I just hit the wall where I didn't have anything mentally, physically. I was just out of gas. And there's a thing that happens, and Chris and I have talked about this, but like if you guys, for the people that come and our clients that have been through boot camp know this, like to put on that boot camp, you literally leave a piece of your soul in the boot camp. Like it's the thing that really kind of indoctrinates.
Yeah. I remember telling you that, and then when you did your first one, you were like, "Oh, you're right. This is way more." It's that mental energy that you discount, but you're exhausted.
So normally after I do a boot camp, like we'll do on just a normal month, it'll be a Thursday and then half a day on Friday. And then I kind of I am able to kind of slow down and process going into the weekend, and I have that little time to recharge. Well, this was boot camp on the Friday. I did a day and a half in a day. And then we went right to the events and everything like that. And my tank ran out of gas. It's funny that you noticed that.
That's the first time I've ever seen that. It's funny.
Yeah. But
usually I'm the one that.
That's true. That's funny.
Well, I mean, in the scope of how long I would allow access compared to you, you're always more willing to hang out longer than I am.
Yeah.
So it was funny to see you cut it. So I don't know if that's interesting to the audience, but it was very interesting to me that you had an expiration.
That's funny.
The next one is similar to your parts one, and then I put, what an amazing group. Holy cow. Like, from our coaches, the team of coaches that we have, to our elite group, to the people that attended, to our internal team, I mean, what an incredible collection of humans. Like, it was just incredible. The conversations, the friendships, just the connections that were made, and it's just incredible.
Oh, that's a great one. I wish I would have put that down now that you did.
Then the last one I have is that, and I did put parts. An amazing group, and then I put parts to remember to talk about that. Yeah. So similar. The new norm is 50% net to gross.
Yeah, by 30.
Remember when it was 30?
Yeah.
And we realized that we were the problem?
Yeah,
so
great.
Maybe some of you have heard this story, but years ago at our event, We had everybody stand up and come up front for, we actually, I think we had it on their name tags, didn't we? Their net to gross.
We might have
So
something
what
like
their
that.
profitability is a percentage of their gross. And when we said 30%, most of the room stood up.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And after that, I was like, holy cow, like, why is everybody at 30% net to gross? And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, it's because that's what we say they should be. And there's a lot of managers that were hitting 30 and then putting up their feet and being like, hey, I won life. We're good. I'm 30.
They
Walk
told me to
around
get
with
to
their
30,
shoulders
I'm at
back.
30,
Yeah. I'm the best of the best. I'm 10 times the national average, or, you know, whatever it is. And we made a conscious decision internally that we were going to say 30 is the starting point, but we have a lot of clients at 50.
Yeah.
50 is the new number. I mean, think about from back then to now, how many clients we have over 50% net to gross. And I think we'll see that on the parts side now that we're tracking it too.
Oh, yeah.
But it's incredible.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
The amount of profit that's being created out of fixed ops, which fixed ops makes you recession proof. If you have high fixed absorption, or what we call SPOP, service and parts operating profit, if you have high SPOP, you are recession proof. You could lose $500 on every car and you're going to be okay.
You can make a case that we get better during the recession. It's actually it's a thriving point.
And people are going to service their cars more, you know.
Captive audience.
All of that. So when I walked around and I asked people when they would say like, hey, this is a great event or whatever, and I'd say, well, what is your favorite part? You kind of did the same thing, right?
Yeah.
What did you hear was everybody's favorite part of the event?
I had the two most common answers were Andrew and the breakouts.
Yeah. And we had quite a list. So there was the first, he was Andrew also, right?
No, Dr. Klotz.
Dr. Klotz. Then we had a dog, the bounty hunter, who graciously took a picture with everybody that wanted one. And
asked him questions and everything like that. Who was trying to get to know him.
But the breakouts and Andrew, far.
Yeah.
And it's confusing Andrew Bustamante and Matt Biamonte.
Yeah. Who also super charismatic.
He came to the reception. A lot of people were like, hey, when's he going to speak again? Yeah. They recognize him from the year before. But so maybe a little self-serving here in this topic, but fun to talk about. And we're already planning next year. So if you weren't at this Top Dog, make sure you're coming to the next one. And if we can help you with online training or coaching, whatever it is, reach out, let us know. info@chriscollinsinc.com. But that was a fun list.
Oh yeah, that was I didn't expect all of yours. So that was the thing about me checking out early.
So funny. So great stuff. We'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.